Hello and welcome to Rock Paper Shotgun. It's the end of 2018, which means I'm legally obliged to start hyping all the games for 2019. And there are so many games. February alone is looking busier than 2018's pre-Christmas period. Mainly because everyone was scared to release their games next to Red Dead Redemption 2. It means we're going to have a spring stuffed with post-apocalyptic adventures and deadly samurai, which sounds like a pretty good spring to me. Here are my picks of the 15 games to watch out for in 2019. And thanks to Shadow for supporting the channel. For more information on their impressive cloud-based PC, check out the link in the description below. Oh, and if you enjoy this video as it goes along, do subscribe to Rock Paper Shotgun, but only if you're enjoying it. That way you can follow all these games as we cover them through the year. Now, onwards to the future! If Fallout 76 has left you with the bitter taste of mole rat steaks and mediocrity, you can wash it away with a swig of Metro Exodus. 4A Games' post-apocalyptic survival shooter isn't an open world like Bethesda's, though you'd be forgiven for thinking it was. It's more a series of very fat corridors, keeping you on the tracks of a compelling story but opening into wider areas that let the environment artist conjure some amazingly bleak landscapes and gives you the chance to choose your approach. Do you customize weapons for quiet creeping? Or beef them up so they do as much noisy damage as possible? Either way, those radioactive bears won't know what hit them. This has always been a series that has used cramped settings to justify a beautiful level of detail. We can't wait to see how and if it scales up. If you've been watching Rock Paper Shotgun this year, you'll know why we like Resident Evil 2. It's all about the limb damage. The horrible, graphic limb damage. Yes, you can put a bullet between the eyes, but these zombies keep getting back up. Better to shoot off an elbow or knee and watch all the strawberry jam come squirting out. Just remember where you left the legless undead. They'll be waiting for you on a return trip. Okay, there are loads more reasons to be excited for this gorgeous remake of the 1998 classic. The way it borrows from Resident Evil 4 and 7 but keeps the shape and feel of Resi 2 is very clever. But sometimes it's something as simple as a swinging arm that catches your imagination. If Bethesda aren't scratching your Fallout itch these days, you'll be all over the Outer Worlds. Headed up by Fallout 1 and 2's original designers Tim Kaine and Leonard Boyarsky. It's a gloriously pulpy sci-fi first-person RPG. There's a fair bit of Borderlands in its looks and the idea of space owned by evil megacorporations, but the focus is entirely on doing things your way. You can go in loud, sneak through the game, or try and overcome problems with wits. It does handle more like a traditional shooter. If you line up a shot, it'll always hit, but you can go more granular by slowing time to target limbs. It's very Fallout then, but with a bigger emphasis on weird humour, player choices and storytelling. I am stupidly excited for this one. Fellow RPS word person Brendy calls Sekiro jumpy Dark Souls, and he's not wrong. It's Dark Souls goes to Edo, Japan, which means skulking about on rooftops and pulling rival samurai to their deaths before leaping into larger fights. Combat is faster than From Software's previous outings, with a focus on quick killing blows after clashing swords in the right way. I'm not exactly sure what that right way is. We spent most of the demo being gutted by an 8-foot warrior with a blade bigger than we are. Whisking up to safety with a grappling hook, let us ponder where we went wrong and drink in the stunning Japanese architecture. We hope we'll be brave enough to come down from there when the game releases in March. One of my New Year's resolutions for 2019 is to punch off more demon heads, and Doom Eternal looks like it will fulfill that goal in about a minute of play. It's more of what made 2016's Doom fabulous. More demons, some borrowed and revamped from Doom 2, new weapons and new gadgets. You have a grappling hook this time, which should take the already quick-flowing combat and stick it on fast forward. And while you still can't talk to the monsters, you can become them, with a new invasion mode that lets you jump into a friend's game as the legions of Hellspawn trying to bring them down. In this age of never-ending battle royale, it's awesome to see Doom stick to its guns. And they are very big guns. We've seen Control in a hands-off demo, and it took every ounce of our own control not to try and play the demo by force. It's third-person action with a surreal supernatural twist as you explore the Federal Bureau of Control with a gun that shapeshifts in your hand. There are strange floating bodies on the ceiling, and one of your colleagues can't stop staring at a fridge. I've always thought of Remedy as gaming's answer to genre filmmakers. From the noir of Max Payne to Alan Wake's pulpy Stephen King flavour, this is David Lynch meets the X-Files, and I can't wait to get lost in its confusing corridors. Far Cry New Dawn is another post-apocalyptic shooter helping us get over Fallout 76, but this one will also help us get over the ending of Far Cry 5, which rubbed us up the wrong way with its bleak nuclear payload. This spin-off takes the nuke as its inspiration, dropping us back in Hope County 17 years later. What's changed? Well, weapons are cobbled together with a greater degree of customization, you get a wild boar sidekick named Horatio, and can expect to meet relatives of the companions you met in Far Cry 5. You can also hop in a helicopter to visit self-contained missions in areas dotted around post-nuke America, just in case you get tired of Montana's scorched plains. This looks fun. Am I a sucker for still getting excited about BioWare games? It's only really Mass Effect Andromeda that missed the mark for me, but reports of internal turmoil and creative talent leaving the studio does give you the fear. On the other hand, jetpacks! Never underestimate the simple pleasure of hooning around the sky in a giant rocket-propelled exoskeleton. Our brief hands-on at E3 confirmed that they've nicely captured the weight and heft of these Javelin suits. The big question is whether BioWare have found interesting work for us to do in the suits. They keep trying to convince us that there's cool storytelling happening back in the home city of Fort Tarsis, but it looks limited to us. No, this will live and die on the satisfaction of smashing endless aliens for shiny loot. Fingers crossed it works. The original Ori is probably my favourite Metroid clone ever. Apologies to Team Hollow Knight. All the sequel has to do to succeed is to give me more of those gorgeous animated worlds, that soundtrack, and some of the most fluid platforming outside of Mario. All this looks present and correct, but with a heavy dose of new ideas. Combat has been completely revamped. Ori gets a lightning spear and samurai sword that look too dangerous for a creature this cute. Oh, and if you can't jump over an obstacle, why not drill under it? Add a playable baby owl, and this is another amazing combination of adorable and hardcore. Come on, we all know owls are hardcore. They can twist their friggin' heads backwards. Total War Does Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a fascinating pitch. The Chinese novel is where history clashes with legend, retelling a century of military turmoil through the big personalities involved. It's almost like the Marvel Cinematic Universe of its time, reframing historical figures as legendary warriors. The game takes all this in with a big focus on these superstar generals of the battlefield. They're able to charge through entire platoons and enter one-on-one duels with other generals. Away from the battle, you then have to diplomatically balance all these fiery personalities, or maybe pay the price in future fights. Or you can ignore all that and play in classic mode. But come on, who doesn't want to fight as a mystic warrior of legend? The reveal of a Desperados revival was one of the best surprises of 2018. Even better because it's being handled by Me, who made the amazing Shadow Tactics. This sees them apply their real-time tactics brain to the slightly creaky cowboy classic, and the resulting game is looking great. Levels now have big social areas where you are free to walk about and sniff out opportunities to reach your targets, before breaking into hostile areas where it becomes about the view cones and carefully hiding bodies. Listening on conversations to discover weaknesses in people's defense gives it a real Hitman vibe. Matthew loved the demo he saw. Click the on-screen link to find out loads more. Okay, my fellow RPS vid bud Matthew forced me to include this one as he's a huge Ace Attorney dweeb. It's a PC port of the original trilogy, first seen on the Game Boy Advance, but looking slightly swishier here with an HD do-over that Capcom first put together for the iOS version. You play as a defense attorney with pointy hair and an even pointier finger, which you use to accuse people of lying in a series of twisted court cases. It's basically like watching an amazing legal anime drama, but with odd bits of logical deduction to keep your brain engaged. Very strange, very shouty, I can see why Matthew likes it. If Ace Attorney is right up Matthew's street, then Flotsam is right up mine. Only there aren't any streets in Flotsam as it's a city building game set in an ocean world. There are 3 things I like about this one. 1, you have a helpful guide called Steven Seagull, which is a pun I have deep respect for. 2, I love a city builder management game, and this one is particularly quirky and colourful. And thirdly, I really dig its message about pollution and waste. I mean, if you pay attention to the headlines, you'll know that we're basically heading for a Flotsam style situation. I'm hoping that playing this will give me a head start when the water begins to rise. Enjoy life on the seabed, suckers! Because those maniacs at Nintendo won't make any Advance Wars games, the team at Chucklefish are basically stepping in and doing it for them. Their 2D turn-based tactics lifts most of the formula from Nintendo's GBA Classic, but throws in all the mod cons you'd expect for a game in 2019. It has over 45 different kinds of PvP maps, a versatile map creator, a campaign creator, and a puzzle mode that gives you one turn to win. Which sounds an awful lot like Into the Breach, which was amazing and should be ripped off more often. Oh, and one of the commanders you play as is a dog. I would call him a good boy, but he's technically responsible for hundreds of deaths. Bad dog, no biscuit. Heaven's Vault is the next game from Inkle, the galaxy brains behind 80 Days and the Sorcery Trilogy. This one is about an archaeologist trying to make sense of an alien ruin by deciphering the language carved into its buildings. I think this is going to do for translation what Return of the Obra Dinn did for nautical insurance claims. And there's a quote to stick on the box. It's all about drawing out a symbol's meaning from its location and then watching a linguistic domino effect as it changes how you read other messages in the world around you. I'm making it sound way more dry than it actually is. This is going to be a brilliant mystery from one of gaming's most distinctive storytellers. Those are just a few of the hundreds of interesting games on the horizon. It was a bit of a nightmare whittling them down. I'd love to hear your personal picks for the year, so definitely put them in the comments. Then we'll do our very best to make sure we cover them in detail as the year unfolds. And thanks again to Shadow for sponsoring this RPS video. Shadow is a high-end, cloud-based computer available on any internet-enabled device. Just like any Windows 10 PC, you can use it to work, play, or browse. It has the specs to handle any game and comes with an integrated fiber connection, perfect for downloading any game or uploading a video at the speed of light. For more info on Shadow and a discount for RPS viewers, click the link in the description. I hope you found this video useful. I know it's dumb to get sucked into the hype cycle, but it's nice to have something to look forward to, right? I really hope you'll join us in 2019 to cover all these wonderful PC games. We've been having loads of fun on the channel in 2018, and we'd love for you to subscribe and join us for more. Hopefully see you soon. Bye for now.